Don't blink. Now I know what you're thinking. Ethan, you're riding a bandwagon. Ethan, you play Call of Duty. What are you doing on Battlefield? You're saying deep down, I'm a Call of Duty player. I'm a COD kid. I can't go 2 seconds without seeing an enemy. And you're right. And that's why I'm here on Battlefield. Because I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of these maps, this one specifically, are a lot smaller than the Battlefield maps that I remember playing. And I have to say that I am a fan. And look at this. Look at the sequence of events. Only in Battlefield can something like that happen. Pure chaos. You never know what to expect, and that's what makes this game so much fun to come back to, and that's why I'm so excited to be playing Battlefield once again. I haven't played Battlefield really since Battlefield 1, but my favorite Battlefield was probably 4. Put the most time into 4. And back then, I would have just considered myself to be a gamer. And nowadays on the internet, everyone is whatever game they play the most. If you play Call of Duty, if you're known for playing Call of Duty, you're labeled a COD kid. You're labeled a Call of Duty player. And if you're a Battlefield player, if you mainly play Battlefield, you're labeled a Battlefield player, etc. But deep down, I'm a gamer. We're all gamers. And I don't think it's fair to put any of us in boxes based on fabricated internet prejudice. So, enough of that. Can't we just all enjoy the games that are out? Can't we just all enjoy a multiplayer experience together? I think it's important that we talk about the maps in this game, because Empire State probably is the map that I've seen get the most hate. And I know that I'm kind of late to this discussion, but... And look at that nade kill. That was beautiful. I really like Empire State. It's like the shipment of this game, or the Nuke Town of this game. Even though it may not be as iconic, I just think that this fast-paced nature of the game allows for players that want to play fast-paced to play the way that they want. And I think it's great because there are plenty of big maps throughout the history of Battlefield. There are a handful of bigger maps, I will say, in this game, albeit one of them is a remake, and the other one, Mirak Valley, is a classic big Battlefield map, but there aren't a whole lot of those style of maps in the game. However, we know that more content is coming, and I'm happy with the selection of maps that are out right now. I think it's important that Empire State is in the game because this game is the definition of a perfect storm. Call of Duty players and FPS fanatics have been unhappy with Call of Duty for the last 6 years. Activision doesn't listen. You just saw that PR statement that said that Activision isn't worried about Battlefield because Call of Duty is too big to fail, and that statement is objectively true. Call of Duty is too big to fail. However, Battlefield directly competes with Call of Duty. And Call of Duty players aren't happy. And here's a company that's willing to do right by the players, albeit for business purposes. They're listening to the players, and they're trying to bring over a lot of the unhappy Call of Duty fans who are fed up by offering them a game that is for everyone. And I think that's great, because this game is for everyone. And the beta was extremely important in bringing in a lot of Call of Duty players. Now imagine if the beta was exclusively big maps like it was for the 2042 beta, where you're running around and you're trying to find people, or at least that was my experience. People would be off the game within the first match. So I think it's important that there were some smaller maps here for the Battlefield 6 beta, because you want to please the customers of your loyal fan base. You want to make the Battlefield players happy, but you also want to bring in new customers. You want to bring some of those Call of Duty players over. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is to have some smaller maps so that you can reel in the Call of Duty players, keep them in, get them interested in the game, let them have fun. That's how you make sales, people. Not by nostalgia baiting. Call of Duty is a faster-paced first-person shooter, and Battlefield is known to be medium-paced to a little bit slower-paced first-person shooter. They adhere to similar player bases with different play styles. And there is room in this space for both of these games to succeed. But I have to be honest, if Battlefield continues to go in a fast-paced route, while also giving hardcore fans the bigger maps that they want, you might see a lot of people switch. And look at that guy, he got absolutely smoked. You might see a lot of players switch from playing Call of Duty to playing Battlefield, because what a lot of players want is just to hop on and have fun. They're not interested in skill-based matchmaking. They're not interested in competing. They're interested in having fun. And that is really what Battlefield focuses on, is just having fun. Playing the way you want versus playing the way that the game kind of wants you to play. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that there are a few small maps in Battlefield 6. I know a lot of people hate this map, but I think this was mainly made for the Call of Duty players, and I think that Battlefield players can enjoy this map too. I don't think anyone has to hate on a map just because they don't like the size of it. If smaller maps aren't really your thing, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you can't ignore the impact that this map and other smaller maps have had on the game in bringing over a significant portion of the Call of Duty player base. We already saw that the beta itself broke the record of numbers on Steam. Now, that does not mean a whole lot, considering Call of Duty wasn't on Steam until, I believe, Modern Warfare 2022 came out. They took a break when Battle.net launched from launching the game on Steam. But more maps are coming, so no need to fear. We've already gotten a sneak peek of Season 1, where we'll be getting a map that looks like it takes place in some oil fields, and another map that I believe takes place in California. I believe the map is called Eastwood. Shout out to Clint. So there's content coming, and those maps look pretty big, and the game is fun. At the core, the game is fun. So I don't think we need to be worried about anything. I'm very much looking forward to the remainder of this year, and I'm looking forward to what they put out in the near future. So I think overall this game, I rate it like an 8.5, 9. I mean, it does everything that previous Battlefield games have done. The only problem is it lacks a lot of the content that, when you look back at these previous games, they've been out for years. They have all this content. That's probably the only negative, I would say. And that's not even really a negative, because the game just came out. So it's really hard to hold that against a brand new game. But looking at Battlefield 4 with all the maps, looking at Battlefield 1 with all that content, it'll come. We just got to be patient. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I went on a bit of a kill streak this game. Now, I know. Getting nukes is only in Call of Duty. There is none of that nonsense in Battlefield, but the equivalent of a 30 gun streak is exactly what I achieved in this game. I did that in the beta, And since launch, I've gotten 2 nukes. This was the first one. This was from, I think, day 1 or day 2, one of the two, of opening weekend. And I cut out the beginning of the game because nothing really worthwhile was happening. But when I spawned in for the second time, or third time rather, I went on a tear. I mean, you saw it. You saw the whole thing. And I know that, you know, the nuke isn't in the game, but we're going to call this a nuke gameplay anyway. Using the MP5 and the M4A1, it's quite the combo, and it reminds me of MW 2019. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. And, yeah. Thanks for watching. See you later. Peace.